Hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where in the world you're dialing in from. Thanks so much for joining us today from near and far in this cozy event environment today. And thanks for being here and, not letting the whole Zoom fatigue get to you. Today, we have an in-house career expert with us, so a very special guest with us, as well as a panel of alumni from the financial sector in Canada. So first and foremost, I wanted to start off with some nice introductions. And I know I've had the pleasure of connecting with a lot of you either virtually and in person over the past few months. So great to see you all here today. For those of you that I've just been corresponding with by email, it's wonderful to be able to put a face to your names. So thank you for dialing in. And some of you, if I haven't had the chance of connecting with you, I'll introduce myself. I'm Natalie Serestrafil. I'm a recruitment and admissions manager at the business school, and I particularly oversee the Masters in Business Analytics. And so it's great to have you all here today. And I'm actually joined by a very wonderful bunch, which I kind of briefly alluded to just now. But first, I wanted to take the chance to introduce Jane Arthurs. Jane, if you want to give a little wave. So first, we're going to be kicking things off with a very informative and engaging presentation on the internship component of the MBAN, as well as we'll be talking about employer partnerships and what post-program careers look like for our MBAN alum. Jane is an experienced leader in marketing, product management, and sales. Her corporate career spanned from big pharma, biotech, and healthcare in the UK, Ireland, and Canada before she made the pivot into education to grow the business development group at UBC Sauder's Career Centre. She manages a team of staff focused on employer partnerships, and Jane's goal is to develop a business network that not only hires Sauder talent, but is fully engaged in helping to develop their future as leaders. So thank you so much, Jane, for being here today. Guests, you're in for a real treat with Jane being with us today. And with us as well, we have some fantastic MBAN alum from the financial sector. So these are our alum from a couple of alum from different years, different cohorts. So first, we have Chen Chen. Chen Chen is a 2018 MBAN alum. She's currently working as a data analyst in investment data and analytics at Connor Clark Lunn Financial Group. Next up, we have Mia Mi. Mia is a 2019 MBAN graduate who has experience working in a variety of different companies before landing a position at TD Bank, where she's currently working as a senior data analyst. And next up, we have Danny Hiziet. Danny is a 2019 MBAN alum, and he's actually joining us from Toronto. He works in Toronto's financial sector. So hello, Danny from the future, from 3 hours ahead. And since graduating, he's been working at RBC as a data engineer and an application support manager. And last but not least, we have Tracy Wong. Tracy is a current MBAN student here at the graduate school, and she also did her undergraduate degree at Sauder, specializing in finance. So she's a true Sauder alumni. She currently she works as a climate insights intern at the Analytics Center of Excellence at Vancity. So thank you so much, MBAN alum, for being with us today. I know you guys have some very busy schedules, so we really appreciate your presence here at the event. And before we dive right into the meat of things, I wanted to do our land acknowledgement. I'd like to acknowledge that UBC's Vancouver Point Grey campus is situated on the traditional, ancestral, and ceded territory of the Musqueam people. I'd also like to acknowledge that you are joining us today from many places near and far, and acknowledge the traditional owners and caretakers of those lands. Thank you, everyone. And now I'd like to hand things over to Jane for the engaging part of today's session.
Hi, everyone. Good to see you online, and so lovely to see some of our alumni come back and join us. So nice to see some familiar faces too. So as Natalie said, I have the pleasure of, representing a team of 6 business development managers who work with all of our employers across all sectors to teach them and educate them on this fantastic MBAN program. And it's really popular. There's a real high demand for the skill set coming out of the program. So it makes our job really easy, actually. And like Natalie said, we work with everybody, with our peers in the career side too, and the student program coaching side, to kind of curate and build those relationships for you guys with employers, not just for hiring, but engaging them with you in the classroom, whether it be hackathons, live cases, technical interviewing, etc. Mentioning the Career Centre, Natalie, if you just want to put the next slide up, reiterating that we provide a lot of career services for you here at Sauder, and the alumni can tell you a little bit more about that. You'll be supported by a specialty master's career team. There's specifically 3 coaches that support the program, so you will get to meet those 3 and interact with them. And they're responsible for curating a range of programming for you as a collective group and also for you as individuals. So some of the services are up there. But you will all have your own unique career journey. Natalie, if you want to just put up the next slide. And you will, this is the model that we use at the Career Centre to help you walk through your own career journey. It's designed to help you navigate not just your career goals, but it really starts with who you are as a person and what your personal goals are here. And so at the center of the model is know yourself. And one thing I love about this model in the Career Centre is that with the coach's help, you really get a fantastic opportunity to get to know yourself better, get better acquainted with what your values are, what your unique leadership strengths are, and what competencies you might like to develop to be an emotionally intelligent leader. And these kind of insights really help drive where you want to go in your career and help you explore what those avenues are, get you the right experience, and help you tell your story to launch your career successfully. So Natalie said, really, what I'm really here to do at Accord today is really speak about the experiential learning part of the program, which is the internship. And when I say internship, there really is 2 tracks. There is the traditional internship, and this is the way, and it's been validated in the last year. Every company that we meet, really, this is the preferred way that they want to engage with you as students. They've got established teams or, established people that look after the analytics in their company, and they really want to invite you in and incorporate you into the team and work on the current business problems and challenges that they have. So it's a really traditional internship model. Minimum, it's about 12 weeks in length, but because your internship is at the end of the program, they do like to get you involved in media projects, and sometimes the discussion is, well, could you stay on a little bit longer than that? And the great thing about having the internship at the end of your program is that a lot of people find their full-time job this way, because if you like the environment you're in and the employer is also enjoying the experience that you're bringing, then quite often the opportunity is to be invited to convert to a full-time role. The second option is just a personal research project on the last slide. And, a lot of people don't know a lot about this option, but it's a very valid option, especially if you're interested in something that's quite niche or specialized, and it's an opportunity for you to dig deep and become an independent expert in that area, and therefore allows you to present yourself as a subject matter expert in that area. So there is a few students going that route as well. You want to go to the next slide, Natalie? All right, so, we talk about the process of landing and finding an internship. And so this is, your academic curriculum broken into like 5 periods. And early in the first period, you get a career week. And this is where we really start you on your journey. We start to introduce you to alum from the program. We also give you some more information about how the internships work. And we also start encouraging you to network with the local business community. And this is really important actually, because yes, our team bring in a lot of internships for you, but a lot of opportunities are also in the hidden job market, and you may have your eye on a certain program or a certain industry, and it's really important to start networking, getting your name out there, telling people what you want and what you're looking for. And quite often, that's a great way to unearth an opportunity that even the BD team don't know about. So start networking early. The BD team, there's kind of two key recruitment periods for those massive companies that plan their internships on an annual scale. And the next key, key time point for you is there is some internships posted at the start of September. Sometimes you guys are totally just, deer in headlights, not ready to start that. But January is a really good time where a lot of those big company internships start coming in. And then also the BD team, we invest a lot of time and expertise in lead gen campaigns to drive the local market, and they start flowing in around February time. So this is, even though it's quite, halfway through your program, this is really the time to start applying for those roles. So we put the jobs in, but the onus is on you to make time for that search and the application process. So next slide, Natalie. Yeah, a little bit about how long, why do you need to start early? People say that looking for an internship is a bit like a full-time job search, and there's some reference out there, that no matter where you look, it's 10 to 20 hours a week. In terms of our own data, I can tell you that last year's class, when we surveyed them, they were, based on average, 10 to 20 applications to land their internship. And maybe that's something you want to validate again with the alumni when you're in the breakout rooms with them. So, quite often you don't get the first job you apply for. So keep going. We see this kind of stat across all master's level programs, even the MBAs. It takes 10 to 20 applications to land. So get going, get the learning. Next slide now. Okay, a little bit about the internship data. So if we look for last year's class at when the postings came in, you can see where it says period 2, that peak of about 50 roles. This is that January timeframe where I told you that the big companies start to post. Period 3, this is where we're warming up the local market. And I will tell you, we are starting this process early this year. So you'll see this second wave push further back. But yeah, so that's really the two key times to be looking. And then when you look at when people land, I wanted to share this data because what I wanted to share with you guys, your key takeaway from the slide is a lot of people left their internship search late. And so they didn't land until really close to the end of the program, until the date you have to declare. So I think our team brought in something like 190 internships just for you guys last year, and a lot of really great companies. And so we missed out a lot of those opportunities for this current program because the search was a bit delayed, if you like. So start early, get access to all of those opportunities. Next slide now. Okay, a little bit look at, I thought it would be interesting to share with you guys, not just where the postings came from in terms of sector, but also where the students landed this year. So you can see here in Vancouver, we have a very healthy tech sector. So, your internships are with smaller companies as well as larger ones. Healthcare, it really is after this talent, the provincial health authorities, the hospitals, looking at a lot of their, efficiencies, operations, etc. We also have got some real good interest from the consumer and the retail companies here locally, the Aritzias, the Lemons of the world. And there is some finance. This is industry now, so this is still finance as an industry, but I know you guys are particularly interested in finance roles. And I will say that there's lots of finance roles, analytics roles within all of the industries, whether it's Vega, Lululemon, Aritzia, supply chain companies. So let me see what else. I'll pull some of this data for you, but you can ask me in the government, and even in real estate. Actually, real estate was an area that had a big interest in this program last year. And as you know, real estate is one of the key drivers of the economy here in BC. So next slide now. Okay, so this was a little bit about where they landed and salary. Typically, we do see opportunities across Canada, but typically most of the students do like to stay local, and that's entirely possible with the demand that we have. The salary for an internship is about $3,500. That's fairly typical for a master's level program. We do have some students abroad, with COVID, they decided to, back to their home countries for that, and that was possible as well. And a little bit, Natalie wanted me to share a little bit too about the employment outcomes for this program. So in terms of industries, you'll see a lot of students do want to go into consulting and then do land there, not only with the big four, but also with internal consulting within larger companies like TELUS and the health authorities. Yeah, let's see. I can see real estate is going to go up for sure, and manufacturing, you'll see more opportunities for sure as well. Yeah, and then job types. This is really interesting because we know as a program, the students come in with very different backgrounds. And depending on the type of background you come into the program with might sway the type of analytics role that you want to take, whether you want to go more of the data engineer, the data scientist versus the business analyst. The mark, and I think you have to be very careful when you look at the roles, because you know what one company calls business analyst may be very different from what another company calls it and the type of work they do. But you know, in general, there's a huge demand for business analysts across all industry. But as well, a lot of you guys are coming in here with comp sci degrees and engineering degrees, and also like that kind of data science work as well. Next slide. And so for this year's class, I think for the class of 2021, we don't have that data yet, but the data that we have in the class of 2020 is that 81% are hired right now. We're finding, like at this point in the pandemic, actually, that this program and even the other specialty master's program and the MBAs, there's huge demand for new grad talent. A lot of the consultants laid off middle level management during the pandemic, and now we're seeing a big upswing in terms of wanting new grad talent to backfill those roles. So we're really happy with the landing rates that we've got for the programs. Average salary, obviously, there's a wide range depending on the type of role you land and the type of industry you work in, but the average salary is around 64,000 right now. So that was a bit of a whirlwind tour, and I know that we're going to be able to spend some time together in the breakout groups, but does anybody have a burning question?
Thank you so much, Jane, for that very informative presentation. And like Jane said, we have some time for some questions for Jane if you have any burning questions. Otherwise, we can lead straight into the panel portion of today's session. But if you have any questions, feel free to either unmute yourself or type them up in the chat box, and we'll be sure to address them for you. Okay. So I'm not seeing any questions come up. That's okay. You're probably saving them for your breakout room, which is fine. Oh, there's a great question coming through actually about Vancouver's entrepreneurial sector. So given the entrepreneurial nature of Vancouver, may I know if the internship partners are mostly startups or predominantly corporates?
There's a really good mixture of both. I will say that when we had 190 or 189 internships to land 70 something students, so the students really had a great choice and gravitate towards more of the, yes, there were startups, but they did mostly gravitate towards the bigger brands, right? The Lululemons, the Aritzia, the Vancities, the health authorities. So there's lots of both opportunities, I would say. I mean, the bigger companies obviously have more sophisticated data analyst teams, but there's plenty of work in smaller companies too.
Wonderful, thank you, Jane. And so this is another great question. We have a question about how often do the internships convert into full-time jobs?
I would have to get back to you. I don't have a statistic for the last year's class in general, but I will get back to you. We do collect that information. We are seeing it more and more that this happens. Definitely the big annual recruiters. I think something like 40 to 60% of their internships every year convert to full-time. So it definitely is an increasing trend in the way they want to hire. They want to try before they buy. But can I follow up with an exact stat for this for last year's?
So yeah, exactly, Jane. That's very accurate. From the last insight that I had from like the previous year, I'm going to say it was around the 45% mark if we're taking the average from the past few years where we've had the internship piece.
Right.
So converting your internship into a full-time job is definitely a possibility. And if you've liked where you've interned, that's stellar news to do that. And if you want to continue to grow in that company, amazing. But sometimes the luxury of being in Vancouver is that it's kind of like a buffet. You get to sample different types of industries. So we've even had some cases with students who have gotten an internship and who have thought, you know what, I'm really curious to try this other industry out. And because of the, I guess, demand and the breadth of the job opportunities in Vancouver, our students have sometimes had that luxury to say, thank you for offering to extend my opportunity to full-time employment. But I've gotten this other offer from this other organization. So we've seen that happen as well. So, I mean, if an internship doesn't necessarily convert to full-time employment, nonetheless, our alumni are very successfully gainfully employed within 3 months of graduation. I'm going to say about 70% of our class already has a job locked in before they graduate. So the opportunities are here in Vancouver and across the country as well, which is nice to see. Thank you for that question. And for the purpose of keeping us on time, I think I will kind of roll things over to the panel portion of today and make sure you stick around for the breakout rooms, because those are some great opportunities to have some kind of engaging discussions in a more intimate setting as well. So let's get to our alumni panel. So I'm going to now turn things over to our panelists, and there's some frequently asked questions that we often tend to get for our alum. So I'll start off with those. And then in your breakout rooms, if you have more questions, you can definitely ask the questions that you have in those more group focused settings. So popular question that our MBAN alum get are, well, first, they want to get to know a little bit more about our panelists. So why don't you guys, I know I did a very brief introduction early on, but why don't you each go around and explain a little bit about what you do? So let's kind of go from top left to right, and then bottom left to right.
So should I go first?
Please, thank you, Chen Chen.
My name is Chen Chen, and I studied Economic and Statistics at UBC prior to MBAN. I'm currently working as a data analyst under the umbrella of investment data and analytics at Clark and Lunn Financial Group, and my focus is on equity data. So my team resides within the middle office and is responsible for managing process and the overall quality of the data. So operation-wise, we ensure that our data for investment process are accurate, and project-wise, we always look for ways to enhance our current data engineer and architects.
Thank you, Chen Chen. Tracy.
Yeah, hi, I'm Tracy. So I did my undergrad as auditor, specializing in finance, and then I did the MBAN program. So currently I'm working as a climate insight intern at Vancity. So my job is basically understand how climate change is gonna affect our members and our loan, our collateral, those kind of things. And most importantly, is like Vancity is aiming to reach like net zero by 2040. So we are doing like calculating the emissions and doing the annual emission disclosure this year. So that's my daily job. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Tracy. And Mia. Okay, might just come back to me. Danny.
Sure. Hello, I'm Danny, and I'm MBAN 2019 alumni, and currently I'm working within RBC Marketing Science team as data engineering manager. So our core mandate is to stay relevant with the clients. So we are building a platform to help RBC to match the right product, right offer with the right clients at the right time and the right channel. So my core responsibility is to understand the business requirement and help to implement the data pipeline to enable their campaign execution. So at RBC, we really evaluate the production scale pipeline because every day we have a bunch of data, we have a bunch of any new transactions. So we always keep our data on a very updated basis so that we can compete other banks. So look forward to have more deeper conversation with prospective students.
Thank you so much, Danny. And I guess I'll segue into the next question with that. Why did you choose to get into the finance industry? Danny.
So honestly speaking, I didn't specifically choose finance industry. I would say like while I was applying for job, I get two offers, one from RBC, the other from PwC. And so I'm comparing two offers. So RBC give me an offer as a data engineering space, and PwC give me a data analytics consultant. So, and then I think I do have engineering background. I studied electronic engineering as a bachelor. So I think about my career journey, I think it's, I can still deepen my technical expertise before moving on to either consulting or like more business related. So, and also compare the salary, RBC did provide more profitable one. So that's why I choose RBC. And also when you look at the offering, I also choose the team because personally, it's just my personal preference. Like at least I want to specialize in something before being a generalist. So at least working RBC, I'm specifically working on marketing domain. Is you can think about there's two dimensions. One is centralized like a vertical analytics. Like for example, we do I only do analytics under marketing area. And however, there's a different engagement like consulting. Every day you might work on different industry, work on different type of problem. So it's just my personal preference. I want to specialize, make sure I understand one thing end to end first before moving on to other industry. So that's the reason why I choose RBC Marketing Science team. So I'm also curious how other panelists think about this.
Thank you so much, Danny. And what was it for you, Chen Chen? Why did you choose the finance industry?
So I guess in the beginning, just like Danny, I kept my option open. Finance is one of my choice. And then I landed my feet in a fixed income, sort of like boutique asset management. And in that firm, I gained more, I had exposure to the financial markets, and I gained experiences in both middle office and back office, which like makes me more interesting in this industry because first of all, it's a dynamic industry. It's always fast growing, fast paced, and there are so much things to learn every day. And yeah, and then finance is just like an industry that you will have job opportunity everywhere in the world. So like, cause I come from China, so I want to keep my options open to like, just if I ever want to go back to my home country, I want to keep that. So my job experiences can help me land a future job in like a different area in the world as well. So yeah, that's why I chose to stay in finance.
Thank you so much. And what was it for you, Tracy? Why did you choose the financial industry?
My reason was like pretty simple, since like my major is finance. So like during my undergrad, like I do find out that like technical skills and those kind of like data analyst related skills are really important in finance industry. So like that's a reason I chose the MBAN program in the first place. So later on, I think combined with like more technical skill, I can find a better job. So definitely I choose the financial industry just as my initial goal. So.
Wonderful. Thanks so much, Tracy. And thanks everyone for answering that question. How would you say that you landed your role in finance? What was the key thing you think you did that really helped get your shoe in or helped secure your first opportunity in finance? Who wants to start us off with that? Tracy, it looks like you're unmuted, so let's start with you.
For my experience, just like for this internship, I do find out that you need to write something really interesting in your cover letter, because I do have special feeling for Vancity, so I do include that part in my cover letter. I do share a little story that I had in my during my undergrad, which is really related to Vancity. And so my job was the title was climate insight intern. So my story was also related to that. It's about a non-packaged grocery store in Vancouver that I have visited and I do an interview with. So they do find that story really interesting, and that's the reason why they gave me an interview opportunity. So that was really interesting. And during the interview, I do share some my opinion of their data quality, something they do find out it's really interesting. And my interviewers say that's the key reason why he really wants me. So I do think that you need to share your opinion and ask a really valuable question in the end of the interview. So yeah, that's my experience.
Wonderful. Thank you. What was it for you, Danny?
Yes, I can chime in. So I want to echo Tracy's point that always customize your application toward the openings you are trying to apply. Because also as a now I'm at a recruitment side. I know actually it's also hard for us to find a relevant talents, because we also have a limited time and to find the right candidates. So similar job seeker side, they also hoping to find a match. So at our end, we also hope to find a match. So I think at least we can prepare several version. Let's say I apply for consulting for certain role, I customize, and for more engineering oriented role, maybe I customize other. So having some variations of resume or cover letter will help. And also I would say be sure to take advantage of the opportunity to ask questions, because that is another field that's showing that you are really into this company. And make sure you ask some smart questions, showing that you really do the research. That will also be helpful too. Yeah, and also another way, make sure you connect with BCC, a career center, because they are all the experts. Then I still truly appreciate their help. That's why I always willing to contribute back to the solder. And because as international student, that we don't have friends, we don't have family, everything stuff from scratch. So I would say BCC is truly my family in Canada, and they will help to navigate all the ups and downs along this career hunting journey. Yeah. Be sure to work with BCC, and I'm sure they are also eager to help with you. So yeah, and don't forget to bring contribute back when you really have some established career. So I always look forward to bring these spirits passing down. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Danny. That was some great advice. So thank you for sharing that. And with that, I think what we're going to do now is we're going to break up into the panel portion of things. So we're going to be breaking up into 3 separate groups. You'll get the chance to connect with myself to ask any admissions related questions. You'll get the chance to talk to Jane to talk about employer connections and job prospects for business analytics, alum and internship opportunities. And then in the breakout rooms with our panelists, our alumni, pick their brains, ask them about what skills they're using from the MBAN, what new skills they had to learn. These are some great conversation starters if you're looking for topics to talk about in your groups with the panelists. think about what skills were most relevant to their work in the MBAN program, and also any tips they have for considering a career in analytics within finance. So you guys as panelists have already shared some golden nuggets, and I'm excited for you guys to pass on more of your wisdom to our candidates and our applicants here today. So thank you so much. We'll split up into our breakout rooms, and then we'll come back a few minutes before to kind of wrap everything up, and I'll share some details about events and some key dates to consider. Thank you, Tara Lynn, for breaking us up into our groups now. Hello, everyone. So just slowly welcoming everyone back to the main rooms. I see people kind of slowly trickling back into the main room as we have kind of approached our final hour of today's webinar. I really hope you guys had a great time in your breakout rooms, connecting with each other. I know I had a lot of fun connecting with each and every one of you in a more personalized setting. So thank you again for being here. I know our time together was short, but very sweet. So let's continue our discussions and our questions. If you have any, please send them over by email. I'm going to put my email address in the chat box as well, in case for whatever reason you don't have it, which I'm sure most of you have it at this stage. But nonetheless, I just wanted to highlight a few important things. So October 5th, if you're a permanent resident or a Canadian, make sure you're taking advantage of our early bird entrance scholarship. So that's October 5th. And our first official deadline is on October 26th. So that's the last Tuesday of October. Make sure you're getting your applications in early, taking advantage of our first deadline. We have a lot of scholarship incentives attached to that deadline. So make sure you're leveraging those great opportunities. And also in the weeks to come, make sure you're taking advantage of me as a resource. I'm here to help support you in submitting your application and putting your best foot forward in the admissions process. So if there's anything I can do to help support you, pretty responsive by email, and also make sure that you're able to book in an advising session with me. They book up pretty quick, so make sure that if you need that support, that you're booking that time with me in advance. And again, I want to thank you all so much for your time today, for logging in the midst of all the busyness. And I want to again take an opportunity to thank Jane Arthurs for being with us today and offering her time and her expertise. It was a real treat to have her here with us today. And a sincere thank you to our alumni for again logging in and providing their insights and their wisdom and their sharing their experiences about the MBAN program. It's alumni like that really help make our program great. So I look forward to seeing your applications come through in the weeks to come, and to working and chatting with each and every one of you in the weeks to come as well. And thank you. Stay safe, everyone, and chat soon. See you at the next best time. Bye now.
Thank you.